Once upon a time, in the heart of an enchanted forest where sunlight danced through emerald leaves and birds sang melodies sweeter than honey, there lived a young woman named Snow White. She was known far and wide for her beauty, kindness, and gentle spirit. But what no one knew, what no one could have guessed was that beneath her serene exterior lay secrets too heavy for any soul to bear alone. Deep within her chambers at the dwarf's cottage, hidden under loose floorboards, rested a small leather-bound diary. Its pages were worn from countless nights of scribbling by candlelight, each entry whispering truths that dared not be spoken aloud. This is the untold story of Snow White, the girl behind the mirror, the queen behind the poison apple, and the heart that longed for freedom more than anything else. Snow White began writing in her diary after fleeing the castle. Her stepmother, Queen Grimhilde, had always been cruel, but it wasn't until she discovered the magic talking mirror that things grew unbearable. Every day, the queen would ask, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And every day, the mirror answered with Snow White's name. "I hate this," Snow White wrote in jagged letters on the first page of her diary. "Why does my face matter so much? Why must I live in fear because someone else thinks they aren't beautiful enough?" Her words betrayed a bitterness she never showed to others. To the world, Snow White was sweet and innocent, but inside, she raged against the unfairness of it all. Why should anyone's worth be tied to their reflection? Why did her existence threaten another person so deeply? When the huntsman came to kill her, Snow White didn't beg for mercy. Instead, she looked him straight in the eye and said, "Tell me, do you see me as human or just as something pretty to destroy?" His hesitation gave her the chance to run, and though she survived, the question lingered like a shadow over her life. The 7 dwarfs welcomed Snow White into their home with open arms, unaware of the storm brewing inside her. They saw her as a damsel in distress, a fragile flower needing protection. While grateful for their kindness, Snow White often felt stifled by their constant hovering. "Sometimes, I wish they'd stop treating me like glass," she confessed in her diary. "I can chop wood, clean dishes, and fend for myself, but every time I try to prove it, they insist I sit down and rest. Do they think I'm incapable of doing anything besides being fair?" Despite her frustrations, Snow White found solace in the quiet moments when the dwarfs were away working in the mines. She'd wander the forest, talking to animals and sketching pictures of the trees and streams. These moments reminded her of who she truly was: not a princess, not a burden, but simply snow. But even in the safety of the forest, danger loomed. One evening, while exploring near a bubbling brook, Snow White stumbled upon a mysterious figure cloaked in shadows. It was the evil queen, disguised as an old peddler woman. Though Snow narrowly escaped, the encounter left her shaken. "They'll never leave me alone," she wrote later that night. "Not my stepmother, not the mirror, not even fate itself. Will I ever be free?" The fateful day came when the queen tricked Snow White into biting the poisoned apple. As darkness closed in around her, Snow White's thoughts raced wildly. She clutched the apple tightly, realizing too late that she'd underestimated her stepmother's cunning. In those final moments before slipping into unconsciousness, Snow White whispered to herself, "If I wake again, I'll make sure no one controls my life anymore." And then, nothing. When Snow White awoke, It wasn't due to true love's kiss, as the legends claim. No prince rode in on a white horse. Instead, it was Grumpy, the gruffest of the dwarfs, who accidentally knocked the apple piece from her throat while trying to revive her. Confused and disoriented, Snow White stared up at the ceiling, feeling anger boil inside her. How dare everyone assume she needed saving? How dare they reduce her life to a tale of romance and rescue? That night, she poured her fury into her diary. They think this is the end of my story, a happy ending wrapped in ribbons and bows. But it's not. I refuse to let people define me by my appearance or my relationships. From now on, I will carve my own path. Let them call me ungrateful or difficult, I don't care. I am more than Snow White, the fairest of them all. Snow White eventually returned to the kingdom, but not as a passive princess waiting for her happily ever after. With the help of the dwarfs, who came to respect her strength, she challenged Queen Grimhilde's rule and exposed the corruption plaguing the land. The magic mirror, once a symbol of vanity and envy, was shattered. Its shards scattered across the kingdom as a reminder of the dangers of obsession. As for Snow White, she chose not to marry the prince who had pursued her. Instead, she dedicated her life to helping others break free from the chains of expectation. She became a beacon of hope for those who felt trapped by society's narrow definitions of beauty and success. Her secret diary remained hidden, its pages filled with raw emotion and unspoken dreams. Only Snow White knew the full truth of her journey, the struggles, the doubts and the triumphs that shaped her into the woman she became. And so, the legend of Snow White lived on, but only she knew the real story, the one written in ink and tears, bound by courage and resilience.